The conference room hummed with conversation as I stole a glance at my phone, its screen illuminating with an incoming call from Derek. I emerged into the hallway, anticipating the familiar exchange of pleasantries. "How is the journey unfolding? What time can I expect you to return home?" Instead, Derek's voice emerged, icy and self-satisfied. In that fleeting instant, the air seemed to vanish from my lungs. The sheer boldness of it. The utter absence of contrition, it bordered on the absurd. My grip on the phone intensified as his words penetrated my thoughts. "Did you sell the apartment?" I inquired, maintaining a calm tone. "Indeed," he remarked with a wry chuckle. "Kayla and I require the funds to establish our life together. She is worthy of far more than such a cramped space." Kayla. The name pierced through me, though I had harbored suspicions for months that another had taken her place. Derek's late nights, his unexpected work trips, and the growing chasm between us all suggested the presence of someone else. Yet, to listen to him utter her name with such nonchalance, as though I were the unwelcome guest in their existence, ignited a blaze within me. "That sounds agreeable," I responded with a calm demeanor. I refused to grant him the pleasure of witnessing my resolve falter. "My name is Sadie, and until that fateful phone call, I believed I had wed a man worthy of my trust. For 6 years, Derek and I shared a journey together, and though the path was not without its bumps, I held a steadfast belief in our union. We had toiled diligently to acquire our apartment, a charming 2-bedroom nestled in the city that had captured my heart the instant I laid eyes on it. It transcended mere shelter, it stood as a testament to all we had created side by side, or at least that was my assumption. In retrospect, the signs had been there all along. Minor fissures in the foundation that I had overlooked. Derek's nonchalant demeanor whenever I inquired about finances, his habit of sweeping aside my worries with a disarming smile and a fleeting kiss. I had always believed that his confidence stemmed from a deep understanding of his actions. It has dawned on me that it stemmed from the awareness of his ability to manipulate me. The remainder of the day slipped away in a haze. I found myself in client meetings, nodding at all the appropriate intervals, even as my thoughts surged ahead. Derek believed he had emerged victorious. He believed he could snatch the ground from beneath my feet, liquidate the home I had toiled tirelessly for, and stroll away unscathed. Yet, there lingered a singular, vital piece of information that eluded his grasp. For months, the apartment deed had rested solely in my name. After we refinanced earlier in the year, I had it transferred, a decision Derek had readily accepted, seemingly without much contemplation, as it promised a lower interest rate. He had never taken the time to inquire about the specifics or peruse the documents he had signed. His lack of caution was destined to lead to his downfall. When I finally stepped back into my hotel room that evening, the initial shock I felt had transformed into a steadfast resolve. I had no intention of shedding tears or pleading. Did Derek seek a confrontation? Very well, yet, this was a battle I was destined to conquer. The initial call I placed was to Tessa, my attorney and cherished companion of many years. I articulated the circumstances with meticulous precision, my tone steady despite the quickening of my heartbeat. "Did he sell the apartment?" she echoed, disbelief evident in her voice. "Is he truly aware that he cannot proceed without your approval?" "It seems not," I remarked, a trace of amusement slipping into my voice. "He believes he has already invested the funds into his new existence alongside Kayla." Tessa let out a dry laugh. "Indeed, he is about to face a harsh reality. The transaction is not valid. One can establish exclusive ownership, and should he have accepted any funds from the buyer, he would be liable for fraud." The term fraud coursed through me, igniting a surge of satisfaction. "What actions must we take?" I inquired. Tessa stated that the first step will be to inform the buyer that the sale is not legitimate. Subsequently, we shall compose a formal letter addressed to Derek, detailing the repercussions of his actions. If he is foolish enough to pursue any other course of action, we shall bring him before the court. As I ended the call, an unusual tranquility washed over me. Derek believed he had outwitted me, that he had rendered me helpless and in disarray. Yet, in truth, he had merely orchestrated his own grand downfall. The remainder of my journey was dedicated to my work, as I skillfully compartmentalized my emotions and directed my energy toward the challenges that lay before me. The sting of betrayal lingered, yet the thought of reclaiming my life and witnessing the collapse of Derek's arrogance ignited a spark of purpose within me that had been absent for far too long. As I stepped onto the aircraft bound for home, a sense of readiness enveloped me, prepared to confront Derek, prepared to unravel his deceptions, and prepared to embark on a new chapter devoid of his presence. This transcended mere victory. It was a matter of reclaiming authority. The journey back provided me with ample time to reflect on how everything had come apart. Derek's arrogance was truly remarkable. He made no effort to conceal his treachery, treating me merely as another hurdle to crush on his journey to liberation. Yet, rather than succumbing to a tempest of rage, I directed my thoughts towards the plans I would set in motion upon my return. Derek believed I was devoid of strength, yet he remained oblivious to the fact that I had been subtly maneuvering through the shadows, engaging in a strategy that unfolded over time, all without my conscious awareness. Upon the plane's descent, my initial action was to reach out to Tessa. "I'm back," I declared, pulling my suitcase from the luggage carousel with a sense of purpose. "What comes next?" "The buyer has been notified," and she responded with a tone that was brisk and efficient. They were taken aback, to put it mildly, and far from pleased with Derek. Their willingness to cooperate significantly strengthens our position. "And what of Derek?" I inquired. "This morning, she mentioned that she had sent the formal letter to his email. The document delineates the unlawful nature of the sale, affirms your exclusive ownership of the apartment, and highlights the possible repercussions of fraudulent actions." He remains silent for now, but I can only imagine the storm brewing within him. "Excellent," I mused. "Allow him to simmer in his own thoughts." Upon my arrival, the apartment enveloped me in an unsettling silence. Derek's belongings remained in their place. His jackets hung languidly over the chair, his shoes haphazardly discarded by the door, yet the atmosphere felt transformed, as if an unseen force had altered the very essence of the space. I inhaled deeply and placed my suitcase on the ground, aware that the moment of confrontation was approaching swiftly. Without a doubt, Derek burst through the door that evening, his face flushed with fury and his phone gripped tightly in his hand. "What on earth is this?" he exclaimed, brandishing the letter that Tessa had dispatched. "Are you really saying that I can't sell the apartment? It belongs to me in part." "No, Derek," I replied with a measured tone, my arms crossing in a gesture of resolve. "It is not. The title has rested in my name for several months now. One cannot peddle that which is not in their possession." He stood still, his expression a tumultuous blend of bewilderment and fury. "What do you mean by that?" I retrieved the deed from the file I had previously extracted, raising it for his inspection. Following the refinancing, I arranged for the deed to be transferred into my name. "Do you recall that you approved it? Or did you merely glance over the paperwork as you typically do?" He fell silent for a moment, then his expression contorted into a mocking sneer. "You believe you possess great intelligence, don't you?" "This remains unchanged. I have already struck a deal, and you will appear quite foolish when everything unravels." I fixed my gaze upon him, unwavering. "The sale has already been rendered void, Derek. The buyer is fully aware of the situation and stands poised to pursue legal action should the funds not be returned. Oh, and as for money..." I leaned in, my voice dropping to a whisper. "Should you have utilized even a fraction of that deposit, your predicament has escalated significantly." For the first time, Derek's confidence faltered. "You don't know what you're talking about," he muttered, his eyes darting away from mine. "Oh, I am fully aware of what I'm discussing," I declared, my tone unwavering. "For years, you've acted as though I'm too innocent to perceive your actions. But do you know what, Derek? I have been observant, and now you shall face the repercussions." He began to pace, his frustration escalating with each step. "This situation is utterly absurd. You seem to be exaggerating the situation significantly. You can't simply expel me from this place." I arched an eyebrow. "Indeed, I am capable of that. This apartment is rightfully mine. You may remain here for the moment, but this is merely a gesture of goodwill, allowing you the opportunity to contemplate your next course of action. Allow me to clarify. I have no intention of leaving." In the days that followed, Derek's fury morphed into a profound sense of desperation. He reached out to me time and again, his voicemails a whirlwind of desperation and menace, shifting from pleas to veiled threats. In the shadows, Tessa diligently toiled to guarantee that every loose end was meticulously secured. The buyer, seething with anger, withdrew from the agreement, blaming Derek for squandering their time and resources, while Tessa meticulously prepared the initial documents for the divorce proceedings. "You're in a good position, Sadie," she remarked during one of our meetings. "Derek finds himself without any leverage in this situation." Amidst the cancelled transaction and the looming fraud allegations, cooperation seems to be his only path to sidestep a more significant debacle. Her words brought a sense of relief, yet they served as a poignant reminder of how deeply I had permitted Derek to dictate the course of my life. For years, I had turned a blind eye to his dismissiveness and arrogance, convincing myself that engaging in a battle was simply not worth the effort. Yet, in that moment, I realized the extent of what I had surrendered, and a fierce resolve ignited within me to reclaim it all. One evening, Cassie and my closest friend arrived to assist me in rearranging the apartment. We meticulously packed Derek's belongings, arranging them with care in the corner of the living room. "How is he handling all of this?" she inquired, lifting one of his flamboyant ties with a playful smirk. "Not well," I admitted, chuckling despite my better judgment. "He remains steadfast in his belief that he can charm his way out of this predicament, yet I stand firm, unwavering in my resolve." "Good," she remarked, flinging the tie into the box. "He is unworthy of even a moment of your space or your time." I nodded, a surge of appreciation washing over me for her unwavering support. For an eternity, I had sensed a profound solitude within my marriage, shouldering both the emotional and financial weight while Derek basked in the accolades. Yet, in this moment, I found myself surrounded by supporters, and that transformed everything. On the day Derek introduced Kayla to the apartment, the last element of my scheme seamlessly aligned. I sat at the dining table, poring over some paperwork, when they strode in as if they owned the place. Kayla surveyed her surroundings, a self-satisfied smile playing on her lips. Her arm entwined with Derek's. "Is this truly our abode for the time being?" she declared, her tone saturated with a sense of superiority. I rose to my feet, my heart racing yet my determination unwavering. "No," I stated with conviction. This was the place where Derek resided. "Kayla, it seems you won't be residing here any longer." Her smile wavered, and she cast a fleeting look at Derek, who appeared just as taken aback. "What could this possibly be?" he insisted. "This," I declared, with a sweep of my hand towards the apartment enveloping me, "is my sanctuary. This place belongs to no one, not to you, not to her, and definitely not a refuge for you to retreat to after betraying me." Kayla's demeanor shifted to one of cold indifference, yet her lips remained sealed. Derek, in stark contrast, appeared as though he was on the brink of eruption. "This is not something you can accomplish." He raised his voice in a fervent shout. "Your demands are simply not rational." I held his gaze, unwavering. "Absolutely not, Derek. It is utterly unreasonable to believe that you could sell my home, pocket the proceeds, and assume I would simply acquiesce. Consider yourself fortunate that I have yet to pursue criminal charges at this moment." Derek lingered in the doorway, his face flushed with irritation, as Kayla folded her arms, her discomfort growing palpable. "You're being ridiculous, Sadie," he said, his voice tinged with a sense of urgency. "You cannot simply expel me from my own residence." I advanced with purpose, my voice steady yet resolute. "This is my sanctuary, Derek. The title has been under my name for several months now, and you are well aware of that fact. You signed the paperwork without a glance, as is your usual practice. This place no longer belongs to you." Kayla cast a fleeting look at Derek, her impeccably groomed fingers gripping the strap of her purse with a subtle intensity. "Excuse me, could you clarify what she means?" she inquired, her voice cutting through the air. "You mentioned that this was your apartment, that you had sold it." He recoiled, attempting to dismiss her gesture. "The situation is intricate. I will take care of it." "Oh, it's quite simple," I remarked, moving in closer. "You attempted to market an apartment that is not yours to sell. The transaction is null and void, Derek. At this moment, your position is quite precarious." Kayla's facade began to shatter. "You mean the money you told me you had?" She stopped mid-sentence, her voice rising. Oh my God, did you lie about that too? Kayla, allow me to clarify, Derek said hastily, raising his hands in a gesture of peace, yet she refused to accept it. No, I interjected, halting him mid-sentence. Allow me to elucidate. Derek attempted to sell the apartment without my knowledge, believing he could keep the profits for himself and leave me empty-handed. Unbeknownst to him, I had already taken the liberty of transferring the deed into my name several months prior. Not only did he fall short in selling it, but he also engaged in deceit by feigning his ability to do so. Kayla's mouth moved in a rhythmic motion, reminiscent of a fish struggling for breath. Fraud, she whispered, retreating a step from him. Are you truly serious? Indeed, I declared, arms crossed defiantly. I am ready to take legal action if he does not collect his belongings and vacate by the day's end. At last, the veneer Derek had so carefully maintained began to splinter. You can't do this, Sadie, he said, his voice now tinged with desperation. After 6 years of being together, it feels impossible for you to simply cast me aside. You cast me aside the instant you dialed that number, I declared, my tone growing steely. You informed me of your decision to divorce, chuckling at the thought of me searching for a new home. You didn't merely betray me, Derek, you sought to destroy me. Do not linger in that spot, pretending to be the one wronged. Kayla stepped back once more, her gaze flitting between us. This is insane, she muttered, her grip on her purse tightening. You never shared any of this with me, Derek. You mentioned that you had everything under control. He faced her, his expression a canvas of desperation. Kayla, I have the solution to this problem. I simply require. With a swift motion, she halted him, her hand raised in a commanding gesture. Refrain, simply refrain. I refuse to be pulled into the chaos you've created. In silence, she pivoted sharply and marched away, abandoning him in a state of shock. A smile crept onto my face as the door softly clicked shut behind her. It seems you're left to navigate this alone, I remarked, shifting my attention back to Derek. Let us now delve into the unfolding events that lie ahead. He sank onto the couch, his face hidden in his hands. Sadie, if you would be so kind. I made a mistake, I am aware of that. However, this is not something you are obligated to undertake. You're right, I replied, reaching for a folder resting on the kitchen counter and placing it deliberately on the coffee table before him. Though it isn't a necessity, I have chosen to proceed. Here lies the documentation for the divorce. The document has been meticulously prepared by my lawyer, and I recommend that you sign it promptly. The quicker you act, the quicker we can both leave this behind. He gazed at the folder, his complexion ashen. Do you truly despise me to such an extent? Detest you? A harsh laugh escaped my lips. No, Derek, I harbor no hatred towards you. My heart goes out to you. You possessed it all, a love that enveloped you, a sanctuary crafted with care, yet you relinquished it all, blinded by the confines of your own pride. I remained upright, my heart racing yet my determination steadfast. By the close of day, I expect you to be gone. Gather your belongings and determine your next destination for lodging. This marks the final occasion on which I will extend you any leniency. He parted his lips to voice a counter, yet hesitated, his shoulders sagging in resignation. Very well, he murmured, I shall proceed. Good, I remarked, making my way toward the door. And don't even entertain the notion of attempting anything different. Tessa is already managing all aspects of this situation, and should you overstep again, I will not hesitate to involve the legal system. As I pushed the door ajar, Derek rose deliberately, his hand reaching for his coat. He exited without a glance in my direction, his footsteps laden with the weight of defeat. In that fleeting instant, a wave of sorrow washed over me, not for him, but for the life that might have been, had he truly been the man I once believed him to be. Yet, that fleeting moment soon gave way to a profound sense of relief. I shut the door softly, securing it with the freshly crafted key I had just acquired.